Okay, what I'd like to do now is actually introduce you to somebody. This is somebody called Sam. He is the son of a very good friend of mine who I've known for a very long time, and I've long suspected that there was ADHD in the family. But the mum assured me that there couldn't possibly be because Sam had been into prison, and I'll let him tell you his story in a minute. But Sam has been into prison more than once, and she was quite sure that if there was any ADHD, it would have been picked up surely in the prison, and if not, surely in school. But I wasn't so sure, so I very much pushed to see Sam, and I met Sam very roughly 6 months ago, and I want to introduce him to you now so he can tell you his story. So Sam, hello love, thank you for coming. First of all, if you don't mind me asking you, how old are you now?
29.
29. And if you also don't mind me asking you, how many times have you been to either young offender institutes or prison?
15, 16 times.
15 or 16 times, yeah. And you're 29.
Yeah.
And do you remember how old you were when you very first ever got into trouble?
13.
13. And do you remember what that was for?
Yeah, for criminal damage.
Criminal damage, okay. And when you went to the police station, did anybody ever mention any possibility of ADHD? No.
Nothing whatsoever.
Okay. And then do you mind telling us which prisons you've actually been in?
Yeah, I've been to Feltham's, Young Offenders, Wormwood Scrubs, Rochester in Kent, Ashfield, Young Offenders in Bristol, Reading, YY and H&P.
Okay. And didn't you say that you've been to some of those twice?
All of them twice.
All of them twice?
All of them
okay.
Twice.
Right, so we're talking Feltham Young Offenders there, this is important, Wormwood Scrubs, some big prisons. So when you went into those prisons, were you ever asked about ADHD?
I didn't even know it was a thing.
So
no one spoke about it. No one's ever tested me for anything. None of the nurse. I used to have to see the nurses a lot as well because I self-harmed a lot, and no one ever asked me once.
Nobody ever asked you once in any of those prisons?
No one has ever said it to me.
No one's ever said it to you?
Not one single person in the whole time.
Okay. Do you mind telling us what you were put in prison for? Because I don't think any of your sentences were terribly long or terribly serious. No. What sort of thing were you being put in prison for?
Criminal damage, domestic violence, shoplifting, like stealing alcohol to drink.
Okay.
Shoplifting, common assault.
Okay. So what I would call ADHD type crimes, criminal damage, stealing, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now, since you've been out of prison and we've actually now managed to get you diagnosed, which, how long ago was that? I can't even remember.
2 months.
2 months.
2.5 months ago.
Okay, so 2.5 months. Now, I can tell you, because the psychiatrist told me, that Sam is one of the most severe cases of ADHD he's seen, which doesn't surprise me. I'm diagnosed moderate to severe. Sam's severe. Doesn't surprise me at all. But what's important is that Sam went through all those prisons, and he's only 29 now, so this is very recent that he's been through all those prisons, and not once was ADHD even mentioned to him, let alone he be screened or assessed for it. So what the Ministry of Justice putting out there saying, we're screening in all prisons, this is your evidence that it's absolutely not happening. So Sam, just one last question if you don't mind. Since you've been diagnosed and on the meds, how do you feel?
There's a little bit of an adjustment period. The meds, they sort of take a little bit of getting used to. Mm-hmm. I'm on the second dose. I feel less angry.
Yeah.
Less snappy. When they wear off, I feel snappy, but whilst I'm on them, I feel less likely to lash out and shout at people.
Yeah. Do you feel calmer at all?
Yeah, much calmer. I don't feel to snap.
Really?
Feel to snap.
Okay.
I think because I haven't been on the meds that long, once I've adjusted to them a bit better, I think other people will see a bigger side to that.
Yeah.
People at work have noticed.
Have they?
Yeah.
What have they noticed?
Just that my head's less busy. Like, I'm more concentrating on work because I'm not. Sometimes I drift away from what I'm doing. Like, I can get asked to go and do something and then like before and then not, and then come back and not have done it, or say, well, what was that again? And
so you're forgetful and distracted.
Yeah.
But you're less like that.
I'm
now.
more focused on the job now.
Brilliant. And you're not even on the full dose yet, are you? What are you on?
50 is.
50. Okay, and 70 would be the standard dose. Okay, so just to confirm then, that all those prisons you went in, genuinely, nobody once ever mentioned ADHD to you?
Not at all, not whatsoever. None of the other prisoners, like especially in where I was, none of the other prisoners ever said to me about ADHD.
No.
I think I'd heard about ADHD years and years ago, but like little kids having it, not
grown-ups,
and not even teenagers, like
really,
like primary school kids and things. I was in trouble at secondary school and had to go in the afternoons to another school because I was naughty. They never even questioned that. And then when I got into the later years of secondary school, I went to an older version of that school called the Grange.
Which is for children with special educational needs.
Problems and special education.
And never even there.
And then I got kicked out of school. And then I didn't finish. I got kicked out. And
still nobody questioned it?
Nothing whatsoever.
No, okay. I think that's really relevant because Sam was in a special educational needs school. They still didn't pick it up there. So what happens, he ends up getting in trouble as a teenager, like loads of ADHD people do. And then he ends up with this list of prisons that he's been in. And luckily we've caught him now at 29. But if I hadn't been so forceful with his mother saying, I need to see this boy, I'm sure there's ADHD going on here, Sam would be still stuck in the loop of going in and out. So thank you, Sam. And sorry, one thing we must just also add in, just very briefly, he's not been diagnosed with them yet, but I firmly believe that's Sam's little girl in the background, by the way. It's another reason for staying at prison. Sam has got at least 3, we think, of the comorbidities. He's definitely got sensory processing disorder, haven't you, Sam, around the noise and stuff. We think he's got dyscalculia, but very importantly, we know, and we've got this confirmed by his mother, that he's got dysgraphia. Now, dysgraphia is the least known of the ADHD comorbidities, but it's the one where your message from your brain to your hands is corrupted. So you can have all the thoughts up here, but you can't get them down on paper. Now, for somebody like Sam, who's bright and has got all this stuff going on in his head, but he's never been able to write it down, for the prison service and the schools not to have picked this up, it's the easiest thing to spot. When somebody's got dysgraphia and they've got all the answers, but they can't write it down. And when I was talking to his mum, she actually said to me, oh my God, she said, is this why when Sam was little, I've had to do his homework for him all the time. He's always known the answers, but he could never write it down. That's dysgraphia. How hard is it to pick that up? And that's a comorbidity of ADHD. So if somebody had picked that up in Sam wouldn't have spent the last however many years, 15 years, having the life that he's had because somebody would have picked it up. Anyway, thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say to the nice people? Or not?
No.
No? Okay. Thank you so much for going through that. I'm massively grateful.
No, thank you.